Can you tell me about your last position as a Scrum Master? This is one of the most frequent asked questions when you get into any interview, not only Scrum Master and Agile Coach, Project Management. So can you tell me about your last position as a Scrum Master? So, how can you effectively respond to this question as a Scrum Master? This is what we want to focus on today. Hello, welcome to the Scrum Chat Room with Dr. Francis Mbunya. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button for returning viewer. Drop a comment. I want to know those who are watching. Drop also your questions. I'm planning to do a live session, probably Thursday or Friday. So as many questions as I see them on the comment box, I would be responding to them. So also one of the reasons why you should also drop a comment or question is because if you like the content, you want other people to also benefit from it, right? So dropping a comment, thumbs up is always a means to promote it so that many people can see it. So this is one of the reasons why it's always good. Don't just watch silently and go away. Drop a comment. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know that the content is benefiting you. Let me know what you would like me to talk about in my subsequent video, and also put also as many of those questions as possible. I'm going to be doing a live session maybe twice a week or so. Then in that case, we're going to be able to address most of your concerns, right? The one I can actually do a video like now. I'm going to come live and we're still going to answer the questions. All right, for those who want to take an extra mile, not only come to the YouTube and look for new videos and want to personally get coaching by me, reach out by text or WhatsApp and say, well, I'm interested. I'm going to share more information with you. It's going to help you to see if what I offer is a good fit for you. Now, also check on my website, agile.francisimbunya.com. You're going to see a lot of resources that are going to help you. We have 150 plus questions that we have answered for you to go through. There's also a video which I teach Scrum in practice, which I illustrate using the Jira bot. Some people say, "Oh, why don't you use Adio Azure, but why don't you use Ravi?" The bot kind of operate the same. If you know, the goal is for you to know what to do. If you know what to do, uh, despite the bot you're in, you're still going to easily find yourself around, right? All right, and let's get straight to the question of the day. Tell me about you recent job as Scrum Master. Tell me about your past as a Scrum Master. How can you appropriately address this question? Number one, a lot of people kind of make mistake on this question like, oh, my last Scrum, my last role, I was helping my team to facilitate event. I was helping them to do the daily stand up, run maybe all the Scrum events, and at the end of the day, that's all what they can say. But that is definitely not what the interviewer is looking for in this question. Now, what they're looking for, number one, is for you to enable that you understand the business environment. That's the first thing. What is the business environment? The second thing, to see if you understand the product. And the third thing, to see if you understand the process. Now, the first thing they want to see if you understand the business environment, the business value. The second thing they want to see if you understand the product, and the third thing they want to see if you understand the process, and maybe the fourth thing, what are the teams you are working with. Now, if you've been asked a question, tell me about your last position as a Scrum Master. Let's say you can say, okay, my last position as a Scrum Master was with Bank of America. That is the business environment. Now, the second thing you want to focus on is on the business value. And we were working, or I was working with a team of developer, and we're building an interface, we're building a portal, we're enhancing a mobile application, or we're building a completely new mobile application, we're building a completely new product. Now, these are the different aspects you might work on. I cannot mention a lot of them. I'm going to go a bit later detail and talk about all of these details. That now, when you mention what you were building, let's say that we're building an application interface that can help the bank enhance security issues when it comes to mobile check deposit. All right. So You've been able to talk about the environment, you're able to talk about the business value and why it was important for your team to work on. That is what every Scrum Master should understand. You need to understand the business environment, you need to understand the product you're working on, and what is the business value. Now, when you understand that, the product you're working on and the business value, it's easy for you to understand what type of teams you were working with. Now, if you're working on a completely new product, your team is going to be a product team. Why? Because they're working on a whole product. Now, a complete Scrum team is a product team. So when they say a product team, it means that it has back end developers and front end developers, and they're working on all part of the application. Now, if your team was only, let's say, um, enhancing an infrastructure, maybe adding a functionality and not building a new product as a whole, your team can be an API team, application programming interface, which means that the system already exists, but the team is already coming to add a functionality into the whole process. That's an API team, right? The API team, they still build, they design, they deploy. Now, the reason why they more referred to as an API team is because they are more or less looking at functionality that they want to add. That's an API team. Right. So this is a bit when you say Scrum team, you need to understand what type of Scrum teams, right? So this is very important because some we always say, "Oh, I work with my team, work with my team." Now, if you say you work with your team, if your team was building an entirely product, you need to understand. Oh, it's a product team. What type of team are you working? Oh, my team was a product team. If your team wasn't working on an entire product, was working on a functionality to add something new, that is an API team. So they're working on how we already have a system in place, and we want to add a function on how that system could be able to implement additional function, okay, or additional capabilities. We adding new capabilities into the mobile app, into the application. Okay, you can have a web team, right? A web team is more of a UX UI team. They focus on the user interface and the user experience, right? An example of a web team can be you can have a team that is building a website, right? We want to be able to bring it, and they can already leverage what? For instance, if you go to GoDaddy or maybe Namecheap or one of these companies that provide website, they have already built in, they have already programmed all the interface, all the APIs, everything, the infrastructure layout has already been built. So what you do there, what a team that's working on that, they'll all only be using what is existing on the backside to look at how the user will have experience on it. So they're configuring how the user will be able to visualize it as a UI UX, or they call them the web team. The UI UX, they want to see how people can visual, how customer will be able to see that, right? But the UI UX team takes from the API team, which is why I said it's the product team include all different aspects. The product team, you have the tester, everybody. Now, even in the even if in the UI UX team or in the web team, they also have a tester, right? Some teams don't really have tester. Now they might have a center that when they build in their environment, they need to deploy it to QA, and the QA unit is like independently on your own, which means that you can also work. Your team was a QA team. Your team was only in charge in quality analysis, and you are facilitating that team. So your team might only be in charge of a security team. This happened in an enterprise environment where we need to split the work. We're working on that solution. There's so much to do. We need to split the work. But if you're only working on a Scrum environment, which means that you're not building so much that solution, you won't really go into problems of having different type of team. You're simply going to work on with a product team that's handling back to back. So you have the front end, the back end, the tester, everyone working in the whole unit. Now you start talking about different teams and their different functionality when you have about 10 different teams or more than 5 teams working on one product. Then we can start separating, oh, this team is working on the web part of the application. This team is working on the API part of the application. Then this team is working on a mobile automation. Mobile team is now they bring out all what has been built using the API, using what has been built, the structure of the API, and they try now to bring it into a mobile experience, right? Not all companies have web and mobile application. So a mobile team kind of get into that automation. How is it going to appear on mobile? What functionality do we want to enable in mobile? I want to take example. If you log in on your bank account on your phone and you log in through a computer, those are two different experiences. There are features, functionality that you will get them from the web and you will not get them from the mobile. So those are two different stuff. And why in the mobile we talk about iOS, which is and the Android uh, mobile version. Is it working on both stuff? But then one thing I want to kind of throw light here is that if you say your team was a mobile team and you say, oh, we work on a project and it's concluded, now we should be able to find that application in the web in the how do I call it, in the Play Store or in the Apple Store, right? So you need to be kind of become conscious when you talk about all of these different aspects. All right. Now I also want to talk about support team. A support team in it's also we function more in the in a last solution interface. If not, your team will do support. Most of the work that come back to your team as technical debt and bug and fixes and support work. In where we're building last solution, a support team will be an independent team that understand the entire system and immediately those bugs and those technical debt identified, instead of rolling them back to the product team or to the API team, there's a standby team that is just fixing all of that. It doesn't happen in all environments. It happens in some of the environments. Now, we can also have the porter team. Now, when we talk about porter, just imagine yourself working in the imagine yourself working in a bank, right? Now, as a junior banker, there are lock in which you cannot access until maybe the manager need to come and override and give you access to it. So companies can also just be building different portals for different purposes. So those are all the different teams you will likely come across as a Scrum Master. There might be more, but I just kind of focus on the common teams you easily come across as Scrum Master. That was it for today. And don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like and comment as many times as possible. It just helps the video go up and promote it to many other people. If you're interested in our next Safe Scrum Master training, the next session is starting on the 1st of August. And drop me a message. I'll be able to send you more information on that. But basically, we run for 4 days. We teach for 4 days, 4 hours every day. All the sessions are in the evenings, right? And they've been so much positive feedback on our sessions, because we try not as possible not to run them the normal traditional way you will see online. We try as possible to get you into a more practical teaching, where you can be able to see not just theoretical but how it relates in practice. All right. I did promise this week that I'm going to be able to bring to you most of the question I posed in yesterday video. So if you have not watched yesterday video on the details on tell me about yourself, just go back and check on yesterday video. Also put a link on the description somewhere below. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about something. Let me look for the topic for tomorrow. All right. Yeah. So tomorrow I'll be talking on effective spring planning. How do you ensure that your spring plannings are effective? How will you ensure that your spring planning are effective? And I'm going to actually illustrate this using a Ray Jira bot. So then we'll do a bit of practical tomorrow. Hopefully, I should be able to do that. Okay, I see everybody tomorrow. You have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and like.